what is our mission, basically why we are working on different products or different solutions. So we all three, the Anirudh Deshpande and Samruddhi Khire and I, we believe that it is not possible for Earth to replenish at a pace that it may be relieved of all the pollution we impose upon it. So it is our responsibility to take care. With this vision, we are working on different deep tech solutions like Biomens, which I will be going to share with you, that how we have produced the Biomens and how we are working it. Then there are two other products also which we are working is, that is plastic waste segregation and wastewater. So what is Biomens? So Biomens is basically bio-based, biodegradable advanced material which we have produced from agriculture waste. The characteristic features of the Biomens is it is developed from 100% bio-based waste material. It is cold compostable. Cold compostable is basically it does not require any kind of conditions like pH, temperature, humidity to degrade it. It can simply degrade in the open environment, and then it will enrich the soil quality if we dispose of in the environment. It is degradable in 21 to 30 days, and the application of this material is basically it can be used for the single-use plastic products like bags, lanyards, earbuds, etc. Here are the glimpses of my material. The Biomens in the form of beads and sheets, which can be used to produce different kind of single-use plastic products by the manufacturers. Like the bib, we are basically when we go to dentist, they basically for a surgery, they basically put it for the on our chest so that the excessive liquid or oil does not spill on our clothes and it does not waste our clothes. Then the earbuds for cleaning purposes, then disposable cutleries for basically snacks, then bags for carry bags about different for example, if we want to put a clothes or the accessories, so it can be used. Then the lanyards for conferences. Now as I'll want to go start with the minimum viable product of our title. So how we can define that, how it is a minimum viable product, what are the different stages of it. So there are to get a minimum viable product, there are basically 4 stages. That is, first define goals, then develop its hypothesis on it and validate it with the customers, and then at the end we will get a minimum viable product. So I'll taking my product example, I'll share with you with what the particular things are basically specified. So if I want to define the goals, so what is the goal of, basically if you are working on an idea, you have to first define it, that what you exactly want to do. What does you want a product which can create an impact on the employee or on the environment or on the artificial intelligence, etc. There are a number of examples. So for example, if I take case of Biomens, so we actually want to work on in an eco-friendly product, so that we can just, as we are taking it so many things from the nature, so it's just a small initiative to just give back to the environment or to the nature, mother earth. Then we have decided that at the end of our research we will get a small prototype, so that we can validate with different our customers or different people which we want to target it. Then what is the current problem? So the current problem is that we know the plastic pollution is giving a hell to the, not only in India but in the world. And if I talk about the statistics, in India approximately 26,000 tons of plastic waste generates every day, which creates a huge havoc to the environment. And there are another second problem which I want to share with my product is the agriculture waste. After harvesting of crop, farmers are getting very issued by this agriculture waste, because they have to spend their monies to just get rid of those waste. So if I talk about for example, jackfruit waste, so in India approximately 22,000 crore of jackfruit waste is generated, and this money is not a small amount, it's a very huge amount. So there is no any value addition of it. So with these two problems, that is plastic waste and agriculture waste, we came up with a solution, that is biomass. So we have a particular defined goals, that what we want to do and what address we want to issue. With this issue, what we have developed the hypothesis. So hypothesis basically, for example, if we want to create a eco-friendly product, so is there product alternatively available in the market? If it is available, what are their procedure, or how they are producing it, and how then we have to decide what process we want to create, so that it can give us an IP, that is an unique way or a novelty of our product. Then what is the available market? For example, if I'm producing this kind of material, who will buy to me, who will take my product, who are the what is the what their products lacking that I can get in my products. So these kind of market research and this kind of theories we have to initially we have to understand and get the things come in our bucket. Then I have initiated the experimentation by using agriculture waste. I have planned an proper experimentation, that how I can get the material. There are failures which I will be going to share with you, but after many experimentation, I got that yeah, this is an optimized process from that I can get a material which I am expecting to give to my customers. So I'll sharing one example. So we have used the bagasse, and basically it's a bagasse is the sugarcane bagasse, which is waste after we just use the sugarcane juice. Then polyhydroxybutyrate, it's a form of polymer which extracted from the microorganisms. Here we have used the banana peels or pseudo stem, or even the jackfruit waste. So when we have initially experimented, we got this kind of result, that you can see the bagasse, it does not have a proper polymerization. Then the PHB has a very little amount of polymer. So I can't just take this and get polymerized to a sheet. Then initially for the banana peels, I have tried it. We got a different color, not exact strength or the flexibility of the material. But after many experimentation and the concept behind it, we came up with the idea of getting a proper round sheet, which you can see at the end of the slide. So that was our first sheet which we got it properly. Then what challenges I faced during that journey of getting a proper sheet? So first is the removal of sheet from the glass. As I am spreading my sheet on the glass, it just stick on it. So we were struggling what to do. Then we have researched, we have actually reviewed some of the research papers, articles, got the consultation from the research area specialist to get the exact what is the problem it is getting out. And then we find out that yeah, we are actually facing this, and for this we managed to get how to get rid of this problem. Then the antifungal and antibacterial property of the material, when we got the sheet, after 1 week it just totally covered with the fungal infection. So we got to know that we have to give the antifungal property to the material to get stability of the material. Then if I am using it for the cutlery, then I have to use the waterproofing it as well. So we have tried different waterproofing material to maintain its biodegradability, to maintain that what the vision we are facing it, or what the vision we want to do. With this we have came up with a solution to make the material waterproof. Then if I'm since I'm using an agriculture waste, there is a seasonal in India, seasonal croppings are growing, so I did not get waste every year. So I have to preserve the raw material. For that I have actually optimized the process, that yes, if I get the material from the farmers, how I'll be going to preserve it and then use it for further my processing. Then the other things like tensile strength and color and odor of the product, which is a very initial and basic terminology for my product to use it. Then at the end I would like to say, if you are working on any kind of prototype, or then there would be many challenges in which you will be going to face it. So you should always be ready with it. So because it is very uninteresting, and if you overcome that, then it will make your product a very meaningful, and it will gives you a novelty to it. So always don't, if you feel any challenges, don't sit back, just come front and try to overcome that. Then the last step, that is validation. When you get the idea, when you get the small product or a sheet, then just try with your customers. For example, if the your family members, or if you introduce your product or your idea to the other people who is not in your family or friends category, so just try to give them your products and get the reviews from that, because they will be going to give you a genuine review that what is lacking on your product, which will help you to get you a proper minimum viable product. So after these 3 stages, 4 stages, you will get a minimum viable product which can be used, and we can just portray it to the panelist, or even to at least get an idea that from my idea I have created a product which visualize like this, it will look like this. So it's a proof that yes, you that how my I have seen my idea and how it became, how it looks like. So it's just a very initial step of your product development. Then with your feedbacks, you have to then further experiment on it. And if since in India there are very various competition which are available, which allow us to basically not only give idea validation, basically idea concept competitions, but also if you have a minimum viable product, so they'll allow us to just showcase your product which is very in MVP stage. So we can just showcase it, and then further they will, if they like the concept, they will surely going to invest on us, or helps to basically work on further development. So the second topic which we will be going to discuss is the lean startup. What is lean startup? So lean startup is basically the startup which you are carrying forward it. So which contains a basic 3 steps. The problem solution fit. Matlab, what problem you want to trying to solve? Is it really worth it? Because I feel for example, I'll be taking I feel no, going in rainy season, going daily by scooty, I'll just got wet and I don't like it. So I'll prepare a one solution. For example, I'll just take maybe raincoat or some another device which will not give me the give me actually the problem which I am facing due to rainy season, or due to rain. So is that really a problem? Because there are solutions available. For example, if you don't want to go with scooty, you have a you can get a car, or else you can use the cabs or Ola cabs or rides which are available, or you can just simply use the umbrella, raincoat. There are different ways. So does it a problem to solve? So first we have to that channelize it. This can be channelized by asking with your different even your mentors, your friends, your family members, that do you feel like, yeah, I am getting do you feel like is this really a problem to you? So it from their feedback you will get, yes, get the idea that does it a problem or not. And maybe if you are working on the sustainable development goals problems, then you will get an secondary data from the internet, there are many research papers that people have worked on it, that what is the problem behind it, how the people are facing or how the environment are facing. So you can get that secondary support as well. Then if you have that problem and you have identified a solution that I will provide these things to the person, so you have to then secondly search for the market fit. Does what market I target it? You have to just channelize that things, that what initial market I want to target, and does my product basically fit to that market? For example, if I am having a 10 vendors who wants my product, but when I have given to them, they didn't like it, and I have not taken any market survey to that, and which actually give me a drop to my product. So that should not be happen. We have to actually just, it's a continuous process to get our MVP or product, and just check it with our customers, get their feedbacks, and then we have to again conceptualize our product and make it advanced. Then after we got yeah, it's a product which satisfy 10 customers or 10 basically market segments, then we will going with the growth stage. Growth stage is basically we will be going to manufacture a product in a large scale, or maybe for example 50 units or 100 units per day. So it's three lean startup stages, which actually shows you that how startup works. It's not only getting an innovative idea or getting an innovative product. There are many behind other things which we have to work. So there's a small canvas, which are basically an idle canvas to categorize or to basically put our views that what will be different sectors in that startup, which I'm going to share it. That is the problem, which problem you want to solve. Then there's a solution, unique value proposition, what unique value you are going to give to the customers. Then what are the key metrics are there, what is the unfair advantage to you and customer as well. Then what are the channels you going to use for your advertising or for your distribution. Then who are your basic customers, which is most important. And then second, the lower is the cost structure and revenue. So what would be your product, how it should be calculated, what are the different segments are there which included in the cost structure, and how you will be going to the revenue. So I am going to tell you about the different components, what it is. So first, the problems, what top 3 problems you want to solve it, and then according to it, what solution you have came up with it. Their features, that yes, for example, if I have an XY product, then it has 2 to 3 features which is unique to the other competition or the competitors, or for example available in the market. Then key metrics is basically what major work you will be going to do with it. For example, other raw material procurement, other production, then giving the distribution channels, basically giving your material to the customers, their feedbacks. That would be a key metrics to your startup. Then customer segments is basically which target segment you want to target. The customer, the end customer, who, for example, I have a 10 customer, then I have to target that segment. Yes, I want for example, if I take case of for example, I have bib, the dental bibs. So I want to target 10 vendors who are selling their dental bibs to the doctors. So I'll be going to target that dental bibs retailer or the wholesaler person. So that would be my target segment. So according to your ideas, you have to basically target that customer, because if you don't going to target that, then you would never know who will buy my product. I'm just getting my product at growth stage, but I don't know who is my customer. So before the 3 major for a product or for a startup, the 3 major criteria is the what problem you're solving, what solution you have, and who is your customers. Very important. If you don't have, how will you get your money? How will you get your revenue? It's very important. Then second, unique value proposition. So unique value proposition, basically what is your novelty of your product. It should be very simple in a clear message, and which states that how you are unique with others. And it's just this statement is basically try to catch your customers, that what unique you are giving rather than the product available in the market, or you have an excellent idea or a new product only which catches the customer's eye. So that would be a unique value proposition. Then what is the unfair advantage? So the unfair advantage may be that in your bucket, maybe the licensing or subscription of your product, if you have a software or an app, or if you have a product, then it should be intellectual property, IP, that you have be getting like patent. So that would be an unfair advantage which keeps your product basically expect of getting product ahead. Then channels. So channel, in the channel section, basically how will you will be going to advertise your product, or else how, what is your path to that customers. For example, if you are taking the advertising section, then there we have different channels like social media. Then we can get a direct website. We can even go directly word to mouth. For example, I'm going with different vendors and directly talking to them and get try to convince them to take my product. So these are the different channels which we can use. The other is cost structure and revenue. In this, basically, the cost structure basically include the production cost. For example, if it would be a raw material, the machineries, the labors, or if a small to small single thing is included in the cost structure, then the people working in your company, the salaries and accountancies fees. So these is also a cost structure of a per product. Then the other like electricity and water bills. Then there will be maybe different sector, for example, that advertising channels or the marketing, that cost is also included in the cost structure. And how you will get your revenue. So there are different for the different model, or for the different product, there are different revenue models. For example, if you have a product, then you can sell through the B2B, that is business to business. For example, a person who is a manufacturer who is producing single-use plastic products. So I'll be giving my material to his company, and he will manufacture the products with my materials. So it would be a business to business model. Then business to government is basically we will be giving the products directly to the government, which they will be using for their needs. Then business to customer, the business to customer is basically the end user customer who will be going to use. For example, selling of earbuds, and if I'm putting it online on the website, and if a person who is one who wants to take, so then he will just purchase it. So it will be the business to the directly end user customer. So it's that kind of revenue model is B2C. Then you can, if you have an app or a website, or an, if I go with the artificial intelligence or something else, then it will have a subscription or licensing which can revenue. For example, how many subscriber you have, that will give your app and revenue model. Then licensing, for example, if I am using a Microsoft, so you have to license it for your computers. So that licensing cost will be a revenue model for me as well. So it depends upon what is your product and what sector you are working on. So on that, it basically goes on it. Then I'm going to taking an example of will actually give you a proper definition that what is lean canvas and helps you. So it's an Indian startup, student startup basically, that is Ola Cabs. I hope all of you know, and many students are using it day by day by for their travels. So Ola Cabs is started by Bhavesh Agrawal and Ankit Bhati, and how they get their idea. So it's a very small story. They basically traveling out of the city, and they have booked the taxi. After reaching to the out of the city in the villages, the taxi driver have the cost which is fixed, that they will be going to give that taxi driver at the end of that location. He just changes his price and give a high price, which actually crazes his mind that why we are struggling with this solution, with this problem, why the taxi drivers are not fair. They are taking a very expensive cost for a traveling cost or for a ride. So which actually triggers them that we actually have to make a solution for it. So the problem they are facing is, first is the expensive taxi services. Then for a girls or even for the man, then the safety measures, because many times women are not feel good to travel alone, or even in the night time, that they don't want to go with the outstation or even a normal city to city drives. So they have also look out that issues as well. Then there is a lack of driver. Before Ola and Uber, we only see the normal, the private taxis or else the public transport. There is no other solution we can get. And then the availability of car. There are, if you I go over the, for example, I want to take a private taxi, then they have high prices. And then the car availability of car is not available, or else if the car is available, then there is no driver in it. So that the four major problem that they faced, that they have just jotted down and then work on it, and then create an app which is a single platform app, which can connect the customers and the mainly the drivers or the who wants to basically work on it. So they have come with a solution with an app which actually gives them a very cheaper ride. For example, if I want to use it, then rather than taking a private taxi or else an auto, I get a cheaper ride with Ola, and it is very easy to work for me because the all the manuals or the steps they have given are very easy to me, and I can use it very properly. So it's a very great solution. Then they have connected with a very wide car network, so that if you go to different city, if you are not in your city, you are going to different city, then also you can use the Ola, particularly in the city as well. Then the driver profile details, for the safety measures, they are providing the driver profile details, so that if anything happens, we can get the data that this driver is there. So that's a great solution for it. So what is the key metrics for them? So the key metrics for them is the number of rides they are getting per day. Then who are the customers who are using that rides, or for example using their apps to go on to their traveling. Them income, what income they are getting from it, how they have channelized it. These are the three key metrics to the Ola cabs. Then the customer segment is there, the passengers and drivers. The passengers who wants to travel and the drivers who want to share its cab and wants to work on it. These are the two main customer segments. Then what is unique in the Ola cabs? It's a one app solution with different ranges. For example, they are now providing not only the ride within city but outside, plus they are providing the rentals. And initially they have started the as green environment and green movement, they have started the electrical Ola scooter or the bike as well to support the environment. So there are different basically they are generating different kind of revenue with the market acceptance of the market. Basically we can the word is market opportunity. And navigation and easy. For example, I'm taking an Ola cab, I can navigate where I'm going. So it's a very easy and simple way, and I can reach home safely, or I can reach where I want to be destinate. Then what is the unfair advantage is that basically it's a low price rides at a push of button. I have to just click some of the steps and I got a very low price, right? And it's very easy to actually communicate and easy to, don't need any kind of bills or something, no, because it's all digitally. So it actually reducing the paperwork as well. Then rental car is also available. So if you want to travel for 2 to 3 days, then I can get a rental car. I don't need to buy a car, or I have to take car from my home and then want to travel. So rental car availability is an unfair advantage of Ola cabs. Then what channels they have used to advertise there? So firstly, basically they have started with the word of mouth. They have gone to the drivers or the private taxi. They have just collaborated with them that will be giving you this much passengers per day. If you agree with this, then they have started advertising through TV channels, through ads. That yeah, it's a one app solution. You can easily go anywhere anytime. Then even to get more customers, they have started Ola referrals. For example, I am having an app, just refer to my friend, so he will use it and we both will get benefit. So in this case, the customers are getting in number of increasing by this Ola referrals. So it's a good strategy by channelizing or by advertising your product. Now the cost structure and revenue. So the cost structure is, I have as earlier discussed the product development cost, that how they have developed the app, what are the different programmings they have used it. So that cost. Then the marketing cost, the income which is for the customer, for the basically the labors they are using it, or maybe the procurement of the raw material. Then the app management. For example, if due to some error or some internal hacker, if they hack the Ola cab or the basically app management, then that should not be there. So the different licensing and all, so these kind of things were also basically included in the cost structure. Then the revenue, have you just for each ride of Ola cabs or the Ola, they will be taking 25% pay of each ride. So that is their revenue model. That if you ride one, for example, 140 rupees, then the 25% will goes to the Ola cabs business, and the rest of money will be the drivers. So this is a basic simple model. And secondly, to connect different drivers on on this basically service. So the subscription, for example, a 1 year subscription or 2 year subscription for the driver to get attached with Ola services. So this is also a second revenue for them to generate from this model. Now, what are the government initiatives for startups? So I'll be sharing some of them, like Startup India. So for the Startup India is basically for the employment creation. Government is helping the entrepreneurs to develop the innovative product which creates an employment. Basically, you will be opening a company, you will be creating a product, you will be selling your product, and with this selling, if you got a big company, then you will be going to employ get the employees on your company. So it's a basic simple employment creation for the Startup India. Then Atal Innovation Mission. So basically, it's the government wants to create an ecosystem, like they have initiated with the IIC session. Like they want to create an ecosystem in the school, in the colleges, even in the institutes, to get the entrepreneurship development. Because right now, if I go back 20 years, then the people are, if I am studying in the colleges, I always keep of either I will do a job, for example, it's a private job or a government. I'm not looking to venture my own startup or my own business. So with getting those things in the young generation, so they have started an initiative and tried taking different sessions with different categories to basically give an understanding to the students that getting a job is also is not already a choice. You can also start your venture and get money from that also. So the Atal Innovation Mission is basically the main motto of is basically creating an ecosystem which can develop the entrepreneurship and in an individual. Then Startup India Seed Fund is basically it's a financial assistance for the entrepreneurs or the startups for their product development, for their prototyping or minimum viable product. It depends upon which stage you are, and it also giving the financial assistance for the commercialization or the market execution. Then Aspire is basically it's a scheme for promoting the rural entrepreneurship and creating a hub for the rural people. Because if I am living in an urban city, I'll get all the facility I want, but in the rural areas there are not that much facility, and the employment is not that much as good as well. So for that, they have created an Aspire initiative for the rural people, and they have basically creating the different incubators or introducing different technologies so that the people get employed, people can utilize that services and get benefit of it. I'm giving a small example of rural entrepreneurship or the rural development. Niramai, which is a product, it is a cancer screening software which can, it's a safe, non-contact and radiation software. We can detect the breast cancer or the cancer cell which is producing in our body through this software. It is created by Geeta Manjuthana and Nidhi Mathur. They have started this in 2016, and if I want to detect a breast cancer or the cancer cells, the normal cost which currently it is using it costs me around 3,500. But the Niramai, which they have started this software, it is only costing 1,000 rupees. So there is a major difference in it. So for the rural people, they cannot afford 3,500 rupees. But if the cost will be 1,000, then they can afford it. Also, they will get a great health concern or the proper health consultations. So it's a very great app or a great software which can help the rural people to get health facilities and basically get come out of it, or the health concerns they have. And the another thing Nirmay has, that it can detect all type of all ages of women, because the normal procedure which we are using to detect the breast cancer, it has a limit that it can only detect up to 40 years of women. But Nirmay does not have that thing. It can detect at all the ages of women. So this is the unique value proposition of that particular product. So now you can understand that how we can differentiate our product with the current available market product. So this is a small example. Then Mudra is basically a bank where the government gives loan to the small MSMEs or the non-farm small micro enterprises, so that they can just start their small business and can get employment as well in the rural areas, or to the basically small sector categories. The loans are given is up to 10 lakh only, not more than that. So it's a very small initiative for the small sectors. Then after getting your product, or after, if you have a minimum viable product, then what different competitions you can apply. As I was having my MVP, we have applied to approximately 20 plus competition, and some of the achievements which I have got, I would like to share with you all. So we have selected for Himalayan Startup Tech Phase 1 Exploration Program, which is organized by IIT Mandi Catalyst in 2021 only. And we were the one of the startup among 5 other startups from India for second cohort of Canada India Acceleration Program, which is in the Canada. It's a 12 days program, and it is organized by Ministry of Education Innovation Cell and Sprott School of Business, which is in Carleton University at Ottawa, Canada. Then we are also selected as top 10 POCs in national level bootcamp and exhibition, which is organized by MOE Innovation Cell only, by AICT, which is a national level competition. And we are also accomplished third rank in the ASSOCHAM Launchpad Startup Program, which held on 2019. We got the third rank in the regional level, that is in Indore. And we accomplished the first rank in Abikalp competition, which is organized by DIC in SPPU Research, SPPU, Savitribai Phule University, in 2019. We also got a media coverage in Woman Shine magazine, where my article is basically published in this year only, in March 2021, in the sector of Shining Star. So there are small achievements we got here. Then I would like to share some of the go-to lessons for you all, that you don't think that every idea is innovative. No, it is not. You have to just carry forward it to the startup and make it innovative by using your skills. And we should always think that if you are having an idea which is innovative, then you on simultaneously you have to think towards the market context as well, because if you are just creating an innovative product and you don't have market opportunity, then it's a waste of time. So you should always taking those innovation and market opportunity on the parallel line. So it's very important. So your take home points is, for firstly, I will going to take about the do's, what you have to do to get a successful startup, or for example, if you are pitching it to someone, or what you have to basically do in your MVP product or the research you are taking it. So always, if you are presentation or presenting your idea, always well prepared for the pitch, because you never know who is in front of you. And don't think that I know everything about my product. No, you don't know. There are many n number of product which is available in the market, but you have not researched well. So always well prepared for it. make a very simple and user friendly prototype. Don't use to impress someone, I will going to use very extraordinary words or extraordinary programming. No, if you are going to use this, might be the in front of you the panelists who are sitting, they don't know about this thing, then it will just not connect with them. So always try to make a very simple user friendly prototype which can easily we can see and get learn through it. Always focus on solving one problem. Don't try to solve 5 to 6 problems in one solution, because it will mess up your solution and it will not give you uh, effect of for your revenue. So always try to focus on solving one problem at a time. Be open-minded with product. Don't try to take that, no, I will not share my product with anyone, I will only share when I will be going to commercialize it. No, if you will not be going to open-minded, you will not get the good reviews or the positive reviews which is you which should be there in your product. So always try to share it with it. Then the most important is make a very strong team and always know their strengths. If I have I am having a three member of team, then I should know what is the strength of a particular person and how I have to utilize that strength in my work. So it's very important to have a strong team and know their strength and weakness, and try to overcome their weakness by turning them into the strengths. Then if you are giving any pitch, try to add up some stories or inspire them with a story, because stories really connect to us. Whenever we go to any movie or we actually watch the show, it just kept it's stored in our mind. We easily can't lose it, or we easily can't just forget it. But when we study, or basically when we study on our books, we can't remember after 2 months. It is as simple as that. So always try to connect your idea with a small story, so that it will directly catch your panelists or your customers. And if you are giving a presentation, create a very clean, beautiful presentation, and adding some market segments, some data which is available in the market, or the secondary data. Just put it out on your presentation. It will give a good impact on your presentation. What don'ts you should be not doing on your startup or in your journey: don't be so hypothetical, because it will create a product or explaining it to the customers. Don't be very underconfident. You are working on your product from last 1 year or from last 6 months, so you should be confident that yes, my product will going to do this. So don't ever feel that, no, what happen if my product will not be going to sell by any if no one will purchase my product, what will happen? No, always have a positive, optimistic thinking. Then don't create an ugly prototype, because all people always look for a very fresh, colorful, or a good prototype or a good things. We never buy the ugly things. We always try to buy a good things or buy a beautiful things. So always try to create a good prototype, and don't fall in love with your idea and try to protect it. It's a very big no to everyone, because I have seen many students who are trying to protect their idea, don't want to share, because they I will share my idea, he will the another person will take it and then he will use it. Even if you share it, then to get the idea to the minimum viable product, there is a hell lot of challenges, hell lot of patience which need to be required, and you never know that the other person does not have. So don't think that if I'm working in this advanced material, I know I can see around 43 participants are there in this session. So all of you have think that yeah, I should also work for nature, yeah, I should also work for this. Maybe not all, but if I take 20 as a participant, so I should work for the nature, I should always try to make it more eco-friendly and more. But does you really work on it? No, but I'm working on it. So always see these things, that to get the idea to the minimum viable always have to get the things. You know what you want to do, what is you can see the picture that how my idea will be going to look. The other person might not have, because he have not researched on that product, he's not researched on the problem, what he want to do, what is the market segment he want to target, that person has not done it. So don't try think that if I will share my idea, it will not be unprotected and it will be leaked. So no, it is not good. It would not be there. Then market research, as I have told you earlier as well, the market research is a major criteria for the startup. You should have a excellent market research, because and you have to retaliate by the time to time, because you never know, different markets are opening. So you have to always go with that process. Then getting the team strength realization, it's very important, because you have to use it for your startup and for your growth of the startup. Then don't overclaim that after, for example, if I'm in pitching my presentation to an angel investor, and I'm telling him that by 2021 I'll be at pilot scale, by 2022 I will be at commercialization, I have 400 subscriptions. Don't overclaim it, because you never know the circumstances what can be would be. So don't overclaim it. Always, if you are claiming it, then you should have a perfect plan to complete that a particular statement which you are stating it in front of the investor. So always choose your words, where what you want to speak in front of the panels or even in the investors. And always, if you are working on a product, don't say that I don't have a competition, I am a very doing a novel product. No, you don't know, you might be the product is not, but it can be available in the countries, different countries. We have a very huge we have very different countries as well. So don't say that I don't have a competition. There is a competition, it's just that you are not aware of it. So always try to go these things, that who are the competitions, what is the market availability, and what is the market I want to target. So just go these things again and again, because it will only help you to get the data for it, and it can basically uh, get a very proof and complete profile for your product. Now, at the last, I would like to say one small statement, that is, be part of the solution and not a problem. And let's use Biomeds to cut the single-use plastic products. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a truly informative session, and thanks again for your experience and knowledge that you shared with us. So, if, I request participants, if they have any questions, they can post in chat box. Okay, so by the time we have questions from our end.
Okay.
So, which are the possible areas in environmental field that can be addressed by the young innovators?
So could you repeat once again? I could not hear you properly.
Yes. Which are the possible areas for to solve the environmental issues
Okay.
that can be addressed by the young innovators?
So there are different, if you go for the sustainable development goals, so they have given around 17 areas which we can work. Some of them, for example, the water scarcity problem, then waste management problem, then sustainability problem. There are many other as well, which you can basically, you're not only going to create a product for the welfare of your business, but for the environment, for the society. So the if a person who wants to work on the sustainable or the environmental challenges, then they can go for that kind of basically area, and they can just note down the basically a problem which they can see and work on it. So that's a very good vision to work on it.
We would also like to know about Biomans, what exactly it is, and how you got this idea.
So Biomans is, as I have told you earlier, it's a bio-based biodegradable advanced material which we have produced it from the agriculture waste, and it can be used to produce single-use plastic products by the manufacturers who have their manufacturing machines and their entity. Idea which we have created, so me and my partner, that is Samruddhi Khire, so we are actually having our we were in our MSc in microbiology, and we have 6 months research we want to do. So we have actually decided we want to do on an eco-friendly product. We don't want to just in the microbiology field. Basically, there are the things which convert in the microbes, or there will be only the uh, documentary type things are only mostly there. There we do not get any kind of at the end of the a small prototype or a product. So with that mind, we actually decided that we should get a product after this research. And then we have two major projects we want to work in, that is the bioethanol and then this advanced material. So when with different basically reading the different research articles and problems, we got decided that we will be going to work on the this field, that is biomass. And we actually collaborate with Dr. Anirudh Deshpande to get some consulting and some ideas about how to work further, what material we should use, how what can be the procedure with it. And with this, we came up after 1 year, we three actually worked on it and get our minimum viable product, that is biomass. We actually got while working on this journey, we actually got opportunity to showcase it, at the MIC competition and Abicult competition as well. So it actually boosts up that the work we are doing or the problem we want to basically portray or the solution we want to make, it is going in the right direction. Because if you are working on a product and if you participate in an or showcase it in a competition, and if they like it, so maybe it gives you a confidence that you are working on a right approach. So if the students are working on it, so they should always go to the different competitions if they are eligible, because it actually give you different views and the actual views who are working on this startup or the business sectors. So it's very important to work, basically try to, if you get the opportunities to attend the or to participate in the competitions.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for the detailed explanation. So, ma'am, we will also like to know about your experience when you selected as an innovation ambassador by MIC for the Canada visit, and what exactly it is, and how the young students can also approach for this international opportunities.
So my experience was delightful. It's a 12-day program in Ottawa, Canada, which is held in last year in January end. So January end. So basically, it's a process started from when the MIC started this IIC sessions and create a portal, that is MIC. That is back time it was MHRD Innovation Cell. Now it's MOE's Innovation Cell. So they have initiated this contest. So when we have actually won the Abicult competition of DIC SPPU. So DIC is basically an initiative of IIC session only, that they have basically started that we want to not only the IITians or IIM students should go for the entrepreneurship or should go for the startups, but there are many different very good innovations which should come outside from different good colleges or good institutes, and they should go forward with the startups. So this is the major motto of the MIC, and they've initiated with different institutes. They have collaborated with institutes, and they have told that you should organize then a competition where the winners or the good give name for the state level mentoring or the state level competition. So after winning the Abicult competition, we went for the state level, which where they have actually the sessions are there, that what are the basically after product, what are the different, as I've shared with you about the lean startup. So at that time they have actually give us the consultancy and the guidance about what is lean startup and how it goes further. And then we have to pitch our product and pitch a presentation, which is about 1 minute only. And after that we selected to the national level, that is national level boot camp and exhibition. It's a 3-day program. 2 days are the sessions which actually shows that how you can basically convert your product into a venture. And then there's an exhibition where you can portray your products, and the industrial specialists and different sectors people can see your product, and if they like it they can even purchase with you. or may interest in basically investing on your product. So after that, the top 10, they have actually selected the top 10 teams and they have distributed into two teams, 5-5, and they have put the women entrepreneurs, which is the second cohort for Canada India Solution Program. We are the part of it. So they have actually sent us to the Canada to get an international exposure of the market rather than Indian, because we have Indian, but for the international exposure market, we have sent to the Canada India Solution Program. At that program, we actually not only got the business point of view, but overall the personality development as well. Like how, if you want to interact with in front of media, how you should interact with it, how the posture should be there, and we actually got to know the Canadian or the startup culture as well, because they have taken us to the innovation culture of the startup, where the basically Canadians have established it and how they are working it. So we got the idea that how we should create our startup, how we should work on it. So this is it's a very great experience, because it actually gives enlightens the international market as well rather than Indian market.